mostly what? Negative. It's outside my cell that's positive. So, let's say that I'm getting an impulse from the nerve, and as that impulse comes down, gets to the area of the synapse, and things begin to open, and acetylcholine makes the receptors act up, the ligand gated, I'm going to have my sodium rush in. If the sodium is rushing in, what is going to happen to the negativity of my cell? It's going to go up, and it's going to get positive. Because if I'm at rest right here, and I start having the changes take place at that neuromuscular junction, and positive begins to come in, well, that means this negative begins to do this. Does everybody follow me? Okay? So I'm going to depolarize my cell. Does that make sense? So, as this process occurs, my area of origin right here. But can my muscle only contract right here? No. Okay? My muscle, in order for it to give me movement, I'm going to need this entire muscle to go, right? But my nerve only comes to one point. That tells me that that action potential needs to travel. Okay? That means, as it comes in right here, it will go here, 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 all the way for the entire length of the muscle. And as it does it, it's opening the voltage gated, which lets it more positive. What's going to continue to happen? I'm going to continue to depolarize, and I'm going to continue to do this number. Right? There's a reason for this. This is only representing what is happening at one muscle cell. Does that make up my entire muscle? No. Okay? So if I can get that one cell to do this, I reach what is called my point that I will begin to have a muscle contraction. Okay? And I'll be right back. All right. Okay, so what's going to happen? Ions, no sodium, they're going to make the inside more positive. That's going to change my polarity, okay? As my polarity continues to go. See how it's going up into being positive now? All right. So we get to this point that we're going to say, okay, well, I have reached a threshold. If the impulse from the nerve is strong enough, and if enough of those gates open, all right, if enough of the sodium moves in, I increase the positivity, and if I can increase it to the point of threshold, that muscle is going to contract. No matter what. You will not be able to stop it. Now, this is what's being represented in one muscle fiber. But we have this entire muscle.
You said when you get to threshold of the track.
No matter what.
What happens if you have a Charlie horse, which you're not using it?
Hold on to that thought. So I'm going to explain what's happening. Okay? Now, if this is happening at one muscle fiber, but if I look at my muscle as a whole, okay? If I look at my muscle as a whole, do you guys remember how we've got like fascicles, okay? And then we've got these bundles, and then everything making up my one little muscle, okay? If every single one of those fibers has a nerve that's coming to it, and this is taking place at every single fiber, and if every single fiber gets to my point of threshold where it will contract no matter what, and that's what takes place in every fiber, what's going to happen to my muscle? Contract. Any other terms coming to mind? Okay, you're thinking about the firing that's taking place with the nerves right at the area of the muscle. My sarcomeres shorten. And if that's the case, my entire muscle contracts. Make sense? Mm-hmm. That is what will make the muscle contract. The stronger the impulse, the more inflow of the positive ions, the more the inflow of the positive ions, I go from being negative to positive. If I go to positive, reach threshold, bada bing, bada boom, you're going to contract no matter what.
I think it's like a weak contraction.
Hold on to that thought, because we're going to talk about that too.
So with this muscle contraction, is majority the same of like the first time you described it when you was going through the vascular membrane, talking about muscle contraction too?
Yes, because this is happening at every single fiber, at every single cell. So that cell is having the inflow of those ions, the movement of those ions. Now, if the muscle does all that, and the muscle contracts, okay, can our skeletal muscle stay that way? No, okay? My skeletal muscle needs to relax. Once that contraction has taken place, we're going to see that relaxation will begin to occur, okay? And I'm going to go from the high point, which was my contraction, and I'm going to now go into relaxation. In relaxation, which of these little proteins embedded in my plasma membrane do I need to be active? What do I need to be functioning at this point? My sodium, potassium pumps. Does that make sense? Okay, so my sodium, potassium pumps. Okay? Now, what is it doing to my negatives and my positives?
It's releasing the sodium. It's although still letting in some of the calcium, releasing more of the sodium out of the cell.
I'm going to see my sodiums move out, which is going to increase my negativity back in my cell. So, at that point, positives begin to flow out. I start returning to being negative. And if I return to being negative, I have now repolarized my cell.
So if what's represented is the sodium and the potassium, which are both positive, what in the cell makes it so that it is
More sodium on the outside? Or the sodium being the one that affects it the most?
well, no, what makes it a negative inside if the potassium is also positive?
Okay. Now, when we think about cellular structure, all right, even though muscle cells, okay, are not going to duplicate because they don't, okay? Whatever you're born with, that's what you get, okay? The only difference is it can increase in size, okay? Now, what makes the cells overall, not just muscle cells, okay? They have a lot of their other activities that have to take place, okay? They're having to get energy. They're having to make the energy. They're having to use the energy. They have products they have to make, this sort of thing. All of that's negative. So that actual interior of the cell is negative due to products it might have to make, materials that are inside of it, the actual makeup of the cell. Okay? And then the reason that sodium is the ion of activity, so to speak, okay, is because in the resting state, when the cell is at rest, those little leak channels that are present, okay, the leak ones, leak channels, they are more permeable to potassium. So really, potassium's job, okay, the K+, potassium's job is to help maintain the balance at rest. Sodium is to do the activity. Does that make sense? However, if one of them is off, all right, if one of them is off, we have clinically significant events that are present, if that makes sense. Such as the muscle is too contracted, not enough contracted, contracts quick enough, contracts slow. Okay, there are clinically significant events if the ions are off balance. Okay? Now, there's an ion that I haven't mentioned, mainly because it doesn't play in the membrane potential, but it's an ion that for both muscle and nerve is very important. Do you remember what ion was in the sarcoplasmic reticulum of the muscle